between the Bulls and the Wanderers. Macarthur's 50th home match in the competition, and a venue where they have never lost to Marco Redan's Wanderers. The finals race is as hot as the weather, just 4 points and 2 places separating these two. And of course, the last time they met had a bit of heat in it as well, with the late Valère Germain winner for the Bulls sealing a crazy 4-3 win for the home team, leaving the Wanderers, and especially their coach, boiling. Expect things to be no calmer today, even though Melbourne City missed their chance to knock Wanderers out of the 6. Their spot in the finals positions by no means secure. Now, Macarthur have just one more home game to come after today, as they bid to tie down a top 4 place and, of course, a home final, which would be a pretty good response after their wooden spoon of last season. Temperatures nudging 30 degrees. We are going to have one drinks break per half tonight. Plenty of talent on show, including Uli Davila there, the captain of Macarthur, and his opposite number, Marcelo, of the Wanderers. Talking of the team news, a couple of changes for the Bulls from the 11 that started against Brisbane before the international break. Matt Yearman returns in defence in place of Tommy Smith, who has had extensive travel with the All Whites to deal with. And Jake Holman is back after Ollie Roos duty to replace the injured Jed Drew. Raphael switches back to the right flank. And on the bench, Matt Miller stands by for his first action since before Christmas. Just the one change for Western Sydney Wanderers. Alex Bonatic was replaced at half-time in the victory over Perth and isn't part of the matchday squad today. So Tom Beadling starts on the ground, where he was sent off against the Bulls in February. Milos Ninkovic makes consecutive starts for the first time this season. Nicholas Milanovic and Lockie Brook are again among the substitutes after returning from Ollie Roos duty. Well, it is the 500th game of a glittering career for Valère Germain, a career which peaked in 2017 as he won the Ligue 1 title in France with Monaco, where he was part of a front four that featured Radamel Falcao, Bernardo Silva and Kylian Mbappe. Quite a quartet, and he played full part in that season, scoring 17 goals. And he's got 11 already this season for the Bulls, including a hat-trick in that 4-3 win over the Wanderers here in February. A really good addition to the Isuzu Ute A-League men's competition this season, and one the Wanderers will have to keep an eye on today. Similarly, Milos Ninkovic will need to be watched by the Bulls. He is approaching, of course, the end of his playing days, with retirement due at the end of the season. The two-time Johnny Warren medalist still awaiting his first Wanderers A-League goal. Miller Stajovski and Marco Redan both learned their trade at Sydney United as players, where they were teammates for a single season before both headed overseas. Redan has the slight edge in the head-to-head meetings, with 2 wins to Stajovski's 1, with one game having been drawn. And good to see the smile replacing the snarl on the face of Marco Redan that he wore last year in Campbelltown. Referee today is Ali Reza Fagani, Andrew Lindsay and Greg Taylor on the lines. Nathan Shakespeare, 4th official. Chris Griffiths-Jones will adjudicate in the VAR booth. So all set in southwestern Sydney on this rather warm afternoon. The Wanderers in their change strip of all white, and the Bulls in their black and white stripes. The countdown to kick-off is on. We are underway, just the 11th meeting between these two. The Wanderers, as mentioned, have never won here in Campbelltown. Is that about to change here this afternoon, Phil Moss?
Well, Marco Redan will be hoping so, and I walked into the ground with him this afternoon, and he was much more relaxed than last time he was here, as you mentioned in your opener. So if the players can take that out on the pitch and put on a performance, then they're every chance.
Well, they took the pressure off with that win in Perth. This is Sonny Kittle. As the Wanderers launch the first attack, seen out at the near post by Tomislav Uskok. Sonny Kittel set up the opening goal for Brandon Borello from a wickedly delivered corner in Perth a couple of weeks back. His second assist since arriving at the club. Jorrit Hendricks sliding in on Raphael. And forward it goes off the boots of Keely Adamson. Davila couldn't control it. Jacked forward by Lewis, and now Davila to open up the space on the left for Jake Holman, with Vujica up on the overlap. It's a bit of a nothing ball really from Jake Holman. Still a bit rusty after getting off the plane from Saudi Arabia with the Socceroos, or Olyroos perhaps. And Western Sydney come forward. Kittel, he too has a man on the overlap who's Borello. And Lewis sees that one out.
Well, end-to-end to start this game, Simon, and a little bit indecisive from Jake Holman, as you said. Got a fair bit of travel under his belt.
Ninkovic, the layoff for Kittel. It's another chance, brings Marcelo into play. Little clip ball finding Ninkovic, but just couldn't quite cushion it enough for Antonsson. Davila trying to break clear of the shackles. But the Wanderers switched on early, which they were in Perth as well.
Yeah, interesting comments from Marco Rudan following that Perth win. He said after the Melbourne City shellacking, it was all about getting the players relaxed, enjoying being around each other. Looks as though just being in the tunnel earlier on, hearing some of the laughter coming from the Western Sydney camp. Looks like they've kept that relaxation as their mantra heading into this one, and they need to stay relaxed because the pressure's on today. With Melbourne City taking on the Mariners tomorrow night, they could well slip out of the top 6 in the next 24 hours or so if they don't get 3 points today.
They haven't been out of the top 6 since the end of the 21-22 season. Appeals for handball against Jorrit Hendricks, but play continues. This is Ivan Vujica. Leaving it for Holman, back through Yerman. And now Bacchus, playing against one of his former clubs. Sent long by Curto. Just bounced off Raphael, he didn't know a whole heap about it. Wanderers ending that 3-game losing streak against Perth Glory. 3-game streak in which they conceded 14 goals, which is most unlike the Wanderers. There's maybe a couple of thousand there, but Ali Reza Fagani is going to bring them back for the first one on Davila.
Yeah, I think, to your point, Simon, as well, I think the coaching staff have really tried to refocus the players. I think they got a bit distracted with the furore around Rudan and obviously that touchline ban. That was a resulting outcome of his blow up here. They looked a lot more focused in Perth, and they've started this game well, but Macarthur, they won't be easy beats this afternoon. They're playing for a lot themselves. Stay in touch with third place Melbourne victory, of course. Had a win yesterday.
It's going to be a Bulls throw. They've been a little bit sloppy in the opening minutes in terms of their possession. All the way back for Philip Curto. Not going to miss Philip Curto today in bright orange.
Well, that's a good press from Western Sydney. It was a high press, it had high energy. The question is, how long can you do that for in these conditions? You're going to have to be very smart about when and how they press.
On for Antonsson to chase, but Yerman always had front position. No foul on Davila. Priestman. Simmons leaves it for Marcelo. There's no width on the right. Clisby. Throwing for the Wanderers off Kieran Bacchus. 5 previous meetings between these two in Campbelltown, which have produced 2 Bulls wins and 3 draws. So the Wanderers looking to break their duck at this ground today. Simmons, again, there's no real width on the right. Milanovic and Brook, who normally provide it, both on the bench today. I guess Brandon Borello is always inclined to naturally drift in field. Kittle's ball's a good one, and Antonsen forces a decent stop out of Philip Curto.
And Matty Yerman had to be there to sweep up the crumbs. Curto couldn't hold that shot. It was a good opening fashioned by Western Sydney.
They've made the brighter start of the two, no doubt about that. This is Hendricks. Borello is trying to shift it on one more for Ninkovic. There's a little off the ball incident involving Beedling and Germain, who've got a bit of history in this fixture, of course. Not spotted by the officials or deemed not worthy of taking any action anyway.
Well, not that I've got the whistle in my hand, but I saw it quite clearly from the commentary position, and I thought it was 6 of one, half a dozen of the other.
And he did spot it, Ali Reza. He doesn't miss too much. There's that previous attack, which ended in decent save by Philip Curto. Beedling. Clisby. Hendricks. And Beedling once again. Hendricks. That wasn't really there for Sonny Kittle, but somehow it's found its way through to him. Seen a lot of touches on the ball in these opening stages. Sonny Kittle. Clisby's driving across him. Which wasn't bad, but hooked away by Yerman. Off the head of Priestman, not where he wanted it to go. Now can the Bulls get out? That's delicious skill by Davila. And releases Raphael. Has a little look to see what's on in the middle, and there wasn't much. But that was absolutely terrific from Uli Davila.
How can you not enjoy watching this magician play? Absolutely first class. The way he wriggled his way through 2 defenders. And then the way to pass for Raphael. He was just indecisive, Raphael. It was Thomas Beedling that got across and defended the situation well, but I thought Raphael, his intention was more of an attacking mindset. He really could have got at his defender in that situation.
Wirtz's ball beyond Jake Holman, and easy pickings for Lawrence Thomas. There's that little bit of skill that we were talking about. Absolute magic from the Mexican.
It's just the awareness and the courage to try things like that, and of course the execution, the technical execution, just brilliant.
Here's Kittle. Ninkovic. Hendricks. Out for Clisby. Hendricks again. Looking for the fullbacks to provide the width, and Clisby has done that. There's the jump on Raphael here. Ninkovic driving for the byline. Seen out by Tomislav Uskok for now. Macarthur wanted a foul on Raphael, but Ali Reza Fagani not interested. Priestman telegraphed that one, and Lewis nipped in. Chance for a Bulls counter, perhaps. Rather slower transition. Perhaps understandably so, given the temperatures today, Mossy.
Yeah, it's hot down there at pitch level. Went for a walk on the pitch before kick-off. Stifling early. No respite from the sun at this stage.
Bacchus. Able to turn and find Davila, and beyond him is Raphael. Ball's moving into position nicely, but it's over the heads of Germain, and Davila's follow-up shot was brilliantly stopped by Lawrence Thomas. The chance almost seemed to have gone.
That is a huge save by Lawrence Thomas. Very brave, perfectly timed. But it was all of the making of his own defenders. Just didn't deal with the cross from Raphael and put it straight into the path of De Vere. He's not someone that you want to give too many chances to.
The Wanderers got into a little bit of a mix-up there defensively. Got away with it.
And here it is here, Raphael whipping the cross into a decent area. It was Simmons who just got his clearance all wrong. Presented what was a gilt-edged chance for De Vere.
Here's Clayton Lewis directing the traffic up ahead of him. Did that ball go out? Linesman's well positioned, says no. Jake Holman across the face, and Clisby to the rescue for now. Here's Vujitsa and Lewis, and it was Marcelo on the edge of the 6-yard box to put it behind for a corner. Good Bulls pressure.
Fantastic work, Jake Holman. Never gave that up. He believed that he could get past his defender. Look at this in the corner, very tight. Would have been serious question marks had the ball gone in the back of the net as to whether it was still in play. But nonetheless, for all the dominance of Western Sydney in these early stages, Macarthur have had the 2 best chances.
And they've got the corner to follow, which Holman takes low and flat, and it's shanked away onto the hill behind, off the boot of Antonsson, for another Bulls go. Maybe a little bit more elevation from Jake Holman this time. Not too much. He's got stuck in there. And there are half appeals for a penalty as Keely Adamson goes down, but nothing too convincing. One back quickly by Holman. And the Bulls have suddenly come alive. Bacchus. Holman back through Lewis. And square of him is Uskok. Raphael. Twists and turns away from Clisby with ease. Here's Davila, fed by Bacchus. It just got away from him. And the Wanderers are able to send it upfield via Tom Beadley.
Just another example of the Wanderers not looking too self-assured in the way they're defending the edge and inside their box.
It's only partly away by Beadling. Picked up here by Jake Holman. This time he does run out of real estate. A good spell for the Bulls.
Very good after some early domination from Western Sydney. There's that dribble from Jake Holman once again. Oh, so close. Jack Clisby getting back to clear the danger.
Kittle with the first time ball. Vujitsa standing his ground. This is Matt Yerman, who of course spent a single season as a Western Sydney Wanderer back in 1920. Lewis, Germain, again building nicely the Bulls. Raphael, and still Raphael, and it just slams into Beadling. And there are big appeals for handball, mainly from the crowd, and it's going to be a Macarthur corner.
Well, this is a mindset you want to see from Raphael. Look at this, getting at his defender, driving into a good area. He's such a powerful runner with the ball at feet, and there's nothing Beadling could have done about that. Kept his arms reasonably close to his body.
I guess it's worth the fans asking the question. Here's Clayton Lewis with the corner. Plenty of elevation, and Thomas missed it completely. It's gone all the way through for a goal kick.
Yeah, he's dodged one there, Lawrence Thomas. Just lost sight of it. Good delivery from Clayton Lewis. We know how lethal that left foot of his can be. There would have been some questions asked about the interference with Lawrence Thomas, I'm sure.
He's had a difficult couple of weeks, hasn't he, Lawrence Thomas? Copping 7 against Melbourne City, and then largely at fault for the goal that the Wanderers conceded against Perth. A long conversation going on here between referee and goalkeeper. Maybe Thomas complaining that he was fouled. The Bulls win it back high up the park again. Vujica. Another corner.
And good defending from Simmons on that occasion. He stuck to the task. He saw Vujica on the overlap. Had to stay focused and time his intervention well. It's another corner to Macarthur. They're really tightening the screws. After Western Sydney had the lion's share of possession early in this game.
Here's the corner, which Antonsen heads clear. Vujica. And Keely Adamson has stolen in behind, and Davila took a deflection which took a bit of the sting out of it, and it was comfortable in the end for Thomas.
Great pass, Ivan Vujica. He just delayed the delivery of it to give Keely Adamson the time to get over the top and inside the opposition penalty box. And the weight of the pass was just fantastic.
Well, the Wanderers in Macarthur territory just about. For the first time in about 8 or 9 minutes, I reckon. Marcelo, and this will drop nicely for Antonsen, or it would have done had Curto not come out to literally use the head to get the balls out of that particular hole.
Well, to your point a little bit earlier, Simon, I'm sure Antonsen saw Curto coming in that bright strip of his.
Look at that for a touch from the Swede. Took all the pace out of the ball. Ninkovic, Hendricks just reaching for it. Vujica stole in. Davila turned and fouled. And a yellow card for Tom Beadling. He's in disciplinary trouble again at this particular stadium.
He can have no argument. Very cynical challenge on Davila. He knew that if the little magician had got his turn and faced the target, there could have been real danger. So Beadling took the bullet for the side, as they say.
Bacchus. Forward by Yerman. Nicely angled too for Holman. Now they can open up the right-hand side of the pitch for Raphael. And there are plenty of bodies in the middle. Raphael wants to go on his own. It drops here for Germain. Simmons makes the block. Bacchus first to the rebound. And fires wide, but there was a touch. So it's going to be yet another Bulls corner.
Well, once again, Macarthur with this wave of energy. And Raphael's right at the centre of it. They're getting him on the ball, getting him in these one-on-one situations as often as they can at the moment, Macarthur.
It's the Bulls' fourth corner. Adamson, plenty of flight, and Ushkok, who's always a threat aerially, got on the end of it, but not accurately enough.
Good delivery to the back post area from Adamson on that occasion. Ushkok just couldn't get balanced as we see the ball floated into that far post area. I think it was Ninkovic just doing enough to put Ushkok off what would have been a balanced jump.
Well, 6'5", Tommy Ushkok, so always going to be a threat, those sort of situations. Got his first goal of the campaign against Brisbane in that 2-1 win at Ballymore. It's another foul by Hendricks this time on Davila, who's been on the wrong end of 3 or 4. And Kieran Bacchus wants to have a conversation about that. And as we know from experience, Mossy, Ali Reza Fagani lets everyone know that there's only one person in charge, and that's him.
Not interested in conversations unless he's doing the talking, Ali Reza. But it is, you can see the frustration starting to build. Davila, once he's in possession, he's always going to have that close attention.
It's his prompting once again, but Simmons read it well. Back to Thomas. A bit of holding between Borello and Vujica. Brandon Borello's so strong. Back it goes for Thomas. Ninkovic. Well, heading is not necessarily one of his strong points. It's a fairly brusque challenge on Rafael, who's remained down and may need some attention here. Ball's still in play, so I was going to say Ali Reza Fagani has told him to kick the ball out, but he's stopped the game anyway.
Well, he has, and look, I don't want to sound over the top here, but I'm not sure why the game has to stop for what is clearly a knock on the ankle. With all due respect to Rafael, I'm not suggesting he shouldn't have gone to ground, but I'm not sure why the game has to stop unless it's a serious injury or a head injury, of course. I'm sure that won't go down well with the players, because they could do with any break they can get to get some fluids in today.
Well, they will have a drinks break in about a minute's time. Meantime, Vujica floats a beautiful ball across, but Clisby was well stationed. Another corner.
Well, I'm not sure Macarthur are going to want this drinks break, because they've got some serious momentum. They keep probing down both sides of Western Sydney Wanderers' defence. This time it's Vujica getting free and delivering a ball into a good area. Jack Clisby defending his back post well. And yet another corner,
Which Clayton Lewis will take towards the back post. Powerfully out by Marcelo. Vujica has a look. He finds Priestman, but his effort is straight at Thomas Larbuskog. And then Holman was in an offside position when he got that touch.
And again, just another example, Western Sydney not defending their box well. The first one from Marcelo was a good defensive header, but Priestman heading the ball from a wider area back into a central area. Rule 101, clear the ball to wider areas where there's less danger, less bodies.
Well, Macarthur continued to threaten. Here they come again. Davila, Wanderers scrambling to get numbers back. Rafael across the face and wide. After that first 5 or 10 minutes, the Bulls really have taken control.
They really have. It's a shooting gallery at the moment. Western Sydney are going to have to get some control of this game back, but Davila not happy with Rafael on that occasion. He's asking for him to slide it back across the face of goal. Instead, the young winger decided to shoot for goal.
Well, that is drinks on this hot afternoon in Campbelltown, and a chance for us to reflect on a really good first stanza of the game. The Wanderers were quick out of the blocks, Mossy, but Macarthur found their rhythm after a rather sloppy start and perhaps feel as though they should be in front.
Absolutely, they've had the better of the chances. They've had 5 corners to Western Sydney's 0. And attempts on target, well, attempts 8-1 and on target 3-1. So on the weight of those statistics, they'll be thinking they're hard done by not to be on the scoreboard.
Well, let's have a look at some of those opportunities that they've created. Ulysses Davila has been at the heart of most things. Teeing up Rafael beautifully here.
As has that man there, Rafael, and that's where Simmons just doesn't deal with the delivery at the back post, puts it back into a central area. Lawrence Thomas bails his right fullback out. This is that incident on the left-hand side, Jake Holman. There was a question mark still watching that replay as to whether the ball had gone out or not. Western Sydney do just enough to deal with it. It's just been wave after wave from Macarthur after that first 5 minutes. Western Sydney will feel relieved that they're not behind on the scoreboard.
Davila finding those little pockets of space and linked it up beautifully again with Rafael. And it was like pinball in there again for a minute or two, Mossy.
Yeah, it's been a real feature, hasn't it? Macarthur probing, Western Sydney not dealing with things inside their own area.
But but by hook or by crook, the Wanderers have made it to the drinks break with their goal intact. I should say they had half decent chance themselves in the opening 5 or 6 minutes. Marcus Antonsson forcing a good save out of Philip Curto.
Yeah, they did, and they came out of the blocks really well, Western Sydney. I suppose you've got to give credit to Macarthur for wresting that control.
Marco Rudan knows that consistency is the key. They got that win over Glory. They haven't won back-to-back games in the competition since late November, which is why the Wanderers, who were top in rounds 4 and 5, have slipped back towards the chasing pack. If you do slip out of the top 6 at this stage of the season, Mossy, there's not too much time to recover it.
No, we're getting to that pointy end, aren't we? And that's why the pressure is on today for both sides. Of course, Western Sydney to consolidate that top 6 position, but also Macarthur, make sure that they're staying in touch with third place Melbourne Victory. The other thing for Macarthur is they've only won 2 of their last 7 at home, 2 draws, 3 losses, so they really want to start putting a string of wins at home together again before they go into those finals.
The ball had gone out before Keely Adamson made contact with it. Touch off the Bulls defender favoured Hendricks. This is Ninkovic. Slightly heavy touch by Varello. It's still there for him. Germain being very tightly watched, as per by Tom Beadling.
He did well, Beadling. He's got to be so careful. He's already on that yellow card.
Yeah, got to time those challenges to perfection.
Well, he tracked Germain into midfield, and when you do that, any challenge is going to be from behind, so you've got to make it count 100%.
Adamson, Raphael. Good run from the winger, really good. Just couldn't angle it enough for Germain, who, well, that was really close, inadvertently so, off Valère Germain. It was a block tackle that almost ended up in a goal.
Well, that would have been one of the most remarkable deflected goals in A-League history had that gone in the top far corner. But look at Raphael. So wonderful to watch when he's in full flight. Such a powerful runner. He just left the ball short of Germain in the end, which gave the Western Sydney Wanderers defence a chance to get across in cover. But, gee, we nearly had a spectacular deflected goal then.
Would have been a fluke, but they all count. Frenchman, of course, bagging a hat-trick. Last time the two met. Hooked into touch by Jack Clisby.
But it is another learning moment for Raphael, for all his endeavour in the dribble and his power on top of the ball. Got to get that end product right, that pass into the path of Germain. Just has to be well weighted. He's going to take his game to the next level.
Backus not going to reach that one. Hendricks stepping through midfield, or trying to. Davila being held back by Priestman. Another foul to add to the count on the Mexican. He points to his jersey to offer up evidence, and his fouls one count goes up to 61 this season, the most fouled player in the league, and his colleague Jake Holman in second spot. He's just so difficult to stop, isn't he?
Just his spatial awareness, his execution of his technical ability is just second to none. Just asking the question there of Reza Fagani as to where his yellow card might be on that occasion. It was quite cynical from Simmons.
Davila trying to turn the ball around the corner, but this time it was Hendricks trying to get as tight as possible to it.
Just let me correct myself, it was Priestman, of course, in midfield, not Simmons.
Lewis over the head of Germain. Raphael trying to track this one down, and he's got away from Clisby. Raphael for the balls. Is Germain being held there? Ali Reza Fagani had the perfect view of it and said no. We'll go on for now. Bacchus. Davila. Adamson. Davila lets it run. Germain. Raphael's cross. Off the head of Beadling.
We're just getting word that the VAR check is complete, no penalty. Reza Fagani, as you said, Simon, Johnny on the spot, perfect position to have a good look at it. And he waved play on. It was backed by Chris Griffith-Jones in the VAR bunker.
Uscock. Yerman. It's probably asking a little too much of Keely Adamson, and so it proves.
Once again, Western Sydney Wanderers are living a charmed life. As we see Raphael again on this replay, gets the better of Clisby. And there it is there. I think they're just both going to ground naturally. I think it's a good decision by the referee.
Thomas's clearance goes straight to Keely Adamson. This is tiring work on a hot day for Western Sydney Wanderers, constantly chasing the ball. Yerman. Wietzer infield, pitched away though by Priestman. Chance for a counter for the Wanderers. That was a good return ball, that, towards Antonsen from Kittel. Simmons takes over, and is he brought down by Uscock? This time it's the Wanderers' turn to lead protests, and again Ali Reza Fagani says no. Marco Rudan up in arms in the technical zone. Meantime, Germain goes down after having his jersey held by Hendricks. It's all going on.
The temperature is rising, of that there is no doubt. Germain goes into the book. I dare say that will be for something he said. At both ends of the pitch, Reza Fagani really being tested here. Hendricks with a fistful of Germain's shirt.
And yet it's Germain who gets the caution.
You can fairly feel the temperature rising inside the ground. It's hot enough at pitch level.
High defensive line from the Wanderers. No love lost between these two. Lewis's free kick off the head of Marcelo. Controlled here by Ninkovic. Up against Davila. There's a contest. Two of the best number 10s in recent A-League history, Martin.
Absolutely. We've been blessed to have them both grace our fields in the Isuzu Ute A-League. Wonderful players, wonderful human beings as well.
If you do get the chance to get out and see Milos Ninkovic before he retires, don't pass up the opportunity, whether you're a Wanderers fan or not. He has been a terrific servant to the game in this country.
Well, it remains one of the highlights of my professional career, Simon, having one season with him at Sydney FC. Just working with him day in, day out.
Raphael held up this time by Clisby. Can the Wanderers spring forward? Kittel. Bacchus trying to peg them back. Well, he's done so to an extent by giving away the foul. There's a real up and atom approach about the Bulls after that sloppy opening 10 minutes that will please their coach.
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly what Milo Sturjovski would have been demanding today, despite the conditions, but the Wanderers certainly came out of the blocks quicker. It's probably exactly the way Macarthur had to get back into the contest, was make it a contest, make every contest a contest. They've done it very, very well. The momentum has definitely swung in their favour.
Bulls looking to press. And the Wanderers are not out of this little muddle as yet. And they get a throw off Raphael. Antonsen. Clisby. Still there for the Wanderers now. A bit of space for Antonsen to exploit. Yeoman across to try and meet it. And the cross goes all the way through. Vujicic slides it out for a throw.
I think Antonsen was trying to force the run with the pass rather than the other way around. His player centrally, Borello, who's no slouch in the speed department, just couldn't get there.
Ninkovic asking Jack Clisby to join in with the attack. Needed a better cross. Hendricks. Priestman. Back through Beedling. Forward by Uskok. And the bounce beats Javan, but Davila anticipated. And again, he's wrestled to the ground, this time by Priestman. And Ali Reza Fagani is going to go to his pocket here and issue a yellow card. At least I think he is. He's not done so yet. Yep, there we go.
Davila is single-handedly putting these Western Sydney Wanderers players on a tightrope. The way he uses his body, Priestman has to be smarter than that. You can't be giving away fouls like that you know are going to result in a yellow card, because, as Fagani said, it's 1, 2, 3 chances I've given you. 3 strikes and you're out. 4 strikes and you're off the pitch now.
So another set-piece opportunity for the Bulls. Is it going to be the in-swinger from Lewis or the out-swinger from Holman? Breeze blowing towards the Wanderers' goal. Lewis floats it in nicely and went through everyone, but must have taken a touch off either Marcelo or Thomas, because it's another corner.
In the end, it's good judgment from Lawrence Thomas, you'd have to say, but gee, to let the ball on that trajectory go, you're taking a huge risk. I think Uskok sums it up perfectly. Inches away.
Adamson's corner. Plenty of elevation this time. Back post was Bacchus and volleyed over by Matt Yeoman, who's only ever scored 3 goals in what is now his 209th game in the competition. Actually scored his first in 8 years against Macarthur last season. Stays with the Newcastle Jets. Lewis. Jaman linking up with Davila. Jaman again looking for Raphael, plucked out of the afternoon sky by Lawrence Thomas.
Once again, it's in those wide areas that Macarthur are causing all sorts of issues for Western Sydney. It's something that Marco Rudan will have to address at half-time.
Hendricks looking for an out ball. One didn't really appear. Adamson. Touch off. Clisby favours Davila. And he'll get yet another corner off Priestman.
Well, it is, and it's a result of Western Sydney again playing short from out at the back. If you're doing that, you're inviting the press, which is a clear tactic. If you're going to invite the press, you then have to find ways to play through it, around it or over it. And that is where Macarthur are picking Western Sydney off at the moment. They're not moving the ball quick enough.
Well, look at that foul count for Uli Davila. That's since round 1 back in season 1920. By far the most fouled player in the league. Lewis's corner, and it flashes wide off the head of Valère Germain. Goodness me, he met that sweetly. Just not quite accurately enough.
Didn't he? What great delivery, Clayton Lewis, as we've come to expect from that wand of a left foot. And Germain timed his
be a shame. Just at the outset of his A-League career, you might remember that he was playing for Sydney FC in the Australia Cup in pre-season, where he did really well. But he was only on an NPL contract with the Sky Blues, and of course they've got a young right back, Zach de Jesus, as well, who's pretty handy, and they opted to go with him. Yeah, that one might look innocuous, but was certainly painful. It's a good run, though, by Aidan Simmons.
Fantastic run. That's exactly what you want from your fullbacks as well, joining in, chiming in with some runs that just put the opposition defence on their back foot. It's amazing how quickly momentum can swing in games. There's runs like that that could just turn the dial in Western Sydney's favour.
Well, the Bulls do have capable replacements on the bench. Yanni Nicolau would be the obvious one if Adamson were unable to continue. So they continue to test out that foot. So the Bulls will defend this corner without him. Yorick Hendricks with the set piece. They've scored 15 headed goals this season, the Wanderers, and Marcelo was on the end of that corner from Hendricks, and not powerful enough to beat Curto.
Just a couple of green shoots as we head into half-time for Western Sydney in the last few moments.
Keely Adamson is back with us, by the way, so no need for the change, at least for the moment. Marcelo for the Wanderers. Borello. Nice little shimmy to get clear of Jake Holman. Now Ninkovic, wide left is Sonny Kittle. Lisby is there alongside him. He went for the cross instead. Kittle again. Lisby to hang it up. There's nobody at the back post, and easily volleyed away by Vujacic. One back straight away by Beadling. Played almost 5 minutes of added time at the end of the first half. Maybe still time for one more attack. Forward by Hendricks. It's all a bit tight in there. And Hendricks is upended by Matt Yerman. And Ali Reza Fagani wastes not a single second in popping that yellow card out. It was like bread coming out of a toaster.
And there wasn't a single second of complaint from Matty Yerman either. He knew that he got the timing of that wrong. As we see on the replay, just outstretched right leg, studs weren't overly raised. Nonetheless, might have been painful if he caught Hendricks on top of the foot.
Fifth yellow card of the season for Matt Yerman, but of course we are now past the 21 game threshold, so he will not serve a suspension, at least not until he reaches 8 yellow cards.
Ran into Matty Yerman, his lovely partner in the city last weekend, enjoying a weekend off. Dinner at Nobu, I think, was the place of choice in Barangaroo.
Look at you, name-dropping restaurants.
I thought you were going to say name-dropping A-League players.
Well through. Hendricks, a little reverse ball for Simmons, which is not a bad idea. Awkward one to control. And that is half-time in Campbelltown. A first half that has been packed full of opportunities, mainly for Macarthur. Valère Germain has probably come the closest with that flashing header that went just wide of the upright from a Raphael delivery. At the other end, the Wanderers, who had a good start in the first 5 or 10 minutes, then had to retreat, but they did have 1 or 2 chances late on in that half, with Aidan Simmons going close. But at the break, we await the opening goal of the game. Macarthur 0, Western Sydney Wanderers 0. And we're off to a break. On the other side of it, we'll have the Hungry Jacks half-time show. Stay with us.
It's another dog.
Now for Torby, and this time it's Caitlin Torby's goal. Gorry, oh that's a lovely little touch, and that's goal number 6. Driven back in, and there it is, her 4th. Rasso winds up, and Rasso scores. There it is for Saya, and she's got it this time. At last, she says.
Yes, looking forward to watching the Matildas against Mexico this Wednesday morning on the 10 Network and Paramount Plus as we welcome you to the Hungry Jacks half-time show. That's the score in this local stoush. Macarthur 0, Western Sydney Wanderers 0. But it has certainly not been a boring first 45 minutes. Very intense, particularly given the conditions with temperatures nudging 30 degrees here. Let's have a look then, Phil Moss, at the Harvey Norman first half highlights. The Wanderers started the better of the two the first 5 or 10 minutes, but once the Bulls got into their stride, there was no stopping them.
That's right. Macarthur by far and away the more dominant side over the course of the first half with the clearer chances, apart from the last couple of minutes where the Wanderers got themselves back in. But here's that chance created by Jay Coleman. Had it gone in, it would have been controversial as to whether the ball had stayed in the field of play in those wide areas. But Western Sydney Wanderers really forced to defend their area, and some of their desperation defence was good, but some of their own undoing was the way they defended their box as well, not dealing with the first ball. Raphael causing all sorts of problems down this right-hand side. Davila at the centre of everything good that Macarthur did. And I think mentally it'll play into the hands of Western Sydney Wanderers at half-time that the scoreboard still reads 0-0.
Yeah, that will be the frustration for Nila Stajovski. Wooly Davila has found those little pockets of space beautifully. Team got Raphael here to drive one wide of that right-hand upright, and they kept knocking at the door, but the goal just wouldn't come, Mossy.
No, that's right, and that'll be a source of frustration, as you said, but Raphael in full flight. He leaves this one a little bit short, but it almost turned into the greatest deflected goal in A-League history, had it found the top far corner. And Germain was good as well, and that's a great timed run. Just couldn't quite get the direction on the header from Clayton Lewis's corner.
So there are the half-time stats. 14 shots from the Bulls, but just 3 of those on target. You can see the XG. Well, they should really be in front, and they've forced a succession of corners as well. 8-1. Will the breakthrough come in the second half? Perhaps no surprise then that the Paramount Plus player index at the moment is being led by Lawrence Thomas, not by much. Even Vujitsa has been very busy down that left-hand side. And Uli Davila only good enough for 5th. I think we need to have a word with the stats people, Mossy, because Davila, for me, has been sensational first half.
By far and away, and who says stats don't lie? Well, sometimes they do, but he's been absolute quality in this first half. As I said a little bit earlier, everything that Macarthur have done well, he's been at the heart of it. Just a wonderful player to watch, and we're blessed to have him and Ninkovic on the same pitch. Probably maybe for the last time, but yeah, wonderful first half from the Macarthur captain.
Yep, he is a super player and a real favourite with the Bulls supporters. Now, there's another game coming up. The games come thick and fast at this point of the season. Tomorrow evening in Gosford, you'll be able to watch the Central Coast Mariners against Melbourne City live on Paramount Plus. The Mariners, of course, in second spot at the moment, but 6 points behind Wellington now with a game in hand. They play that tomorrow against Melbourne City. Can they keep that race alive? And Melbourne City, well, of course, they've got one very keen eye on what the Wanderers do here this afternoon. If the Wanderers slip up, then Melbourne City can take full advantage and themselves move into the top 6 if they can get the win in Gosford tomorrow. Our coverage kicks off at 6:50 p.m. Eastern tomorrow night on Paramount Plus. Well, there we go. That is the end of our Hungry Jacks halftime show, but so much football to come on Paramount Plus, including the Scottish Cup semi-final, which is imminent between Rangers and Hearts. And of course, there's a bit of Australian influence in the Hearts camp. 4 players, including Socceroo Kai Rolls. Back soon.
Obviously, it's pretty tough to challenge the big 2, but we've managed to do it on a couple of occasions this season. You know, you just got to turn up and be on your game and just really try and nullify what they're good at. Take your chances when you get them, because you don't really get many. Just really work together as a team and don't stop for the 95 minutes or however many it may be. You switch off for 10, 15 seconds and they'll punish you.
Kai Rolls, who's back from Asian Cup duty with Australia, comes on. Good squad depth.
Scottish Cup means to me another shot at silverware. I've been in one cup final in my life before and lost, so apart from that, to be honest, not had many cracks at silverware at all. It's very rare to have an opportunity at trophies, and I think not only for me but all the boys, it would be amazing to be able to win and have a shot in the final.
Half-time in Campbelltown, no goals. Plenty of opportunities for Macarthur to steal the advantage. They've been unable to profit from their dominance in the opening 45. Can the Wanderers come again in the second half? They need to. Their spot in the top 6 is under threat, and the first goal here is going to be oh so crucial. The Wanderers have not won a game this season after falling behind. Macarthur only the once, and that came against Brisbane in the last round. Let's have a look at one of the key players today, Phil Moss, Valère Germain. Some of his first half highlights. He was pretty close to giving the Bulls the lead from Raphael's cross, and generally he's been in the thick of it.
Yeah, he was good in the first half, Simon. He's not had the career he's had for no reason. He's a quality player, puts himself about, gets himself in the right areas, can deliver into good areas as well. That header right there was probably his best chance of the half from Clayton Lewis's corner. He just couldn't quite get the direction on it.
And I don't think he and Tom Beadling are on each other's Christmas card list. They've had quite the set to again in the first half. Good to see the kids in the house, local footballers, young kids, enjoying their day out at Campbelltown Stadium. The Wanderers back on the field, as are the Bulls, who made a change at the break. And we saw late on in that first half, Keely Adamson go down with that injury. And he is not recovered in time for the second half, so Yanni Nicolau is on in his place. That's a like-for-like change, and they won't lose too much in that area of the park with that swap, Phil.
No, that's right. No, those ones are painful when you get your studs caught in the grass and you're blocking a shot. So not overly surprised with how Adamson went to ground. He can't take his place in this second half, but Nicolau will come in and do that job. For Macarthur, of that there's little doubt.
As you were for the Wanderers. Lily Davila tying those magical boots. And it's the Bulls who get us back underway. Will they be left to rue those missed opportunities in the first half? The pitch still largely bathed in afternoon sunlight. And it is a warm one, so the Wanderers perhaps will fancy their chances the longer this game goes on. They've managed, they will feel perhaps, to weather a bit of a tropical storm.
Yeah, it was a storm, it was a cyclone. It was almost a tsunami of momentum from the home side that they withstood in that first half. You could see their intent right from the kick-off there. Western Sydney Wanderers with a press that included pushing Priestman all the way through. And that caused a turnover in possession.
Tom Beadling thought about the pass back and then perhaps had a little flashback to the Sydney derby and thought better of it. It's Daniel Margush in goal, of course, that day, and not Lawrence Thomas. Raphael looking to get goal side of the defender, and he's done so. Ninkovic trying to stick with him, but he can't do so. And who's the loose ball going to favour? Here's Germain! What a chance for the Bulls. They are going to get a corner. It probably should have been 1-0.
Absolutely, and it's that man again, Germain, right at the centre of it. I thought Holman did very well there to keep his cool at the back post and just lay it off for Germain to get his strike on goal. And in the end, once again, Western Sydney do just enough to defend it with the deflection.
So the Bulls' ninth corner. Lewis in towards the near post, and Thomas, did he get a touch on that? Not convinced 100% he did. So once or twice he's come for crosses and not made the connection. This will maybe just half a glove.
He did a couple of knuckles on that one, but again, good delivery. Always
awkward in
questions.
the sunlight, of course, for the goalkeepers. Where's the cap, Lawrence? Used to be part of a keeper's armoury. Sure, it still is. Yeoman. Clayton Lewis. Here's another one who's been on international duty during the week. His case with the All Whites, the tournament involving Egypt and Tunisia. Vujicic's cross headed partly out by Beadling. Settled down by Ninkovic. Antonsen has stayed down. And will need some attention here.
Seems to be holding his left hip.
Yeah, maybe the way he fell.
See it here.
Maybe just jarred his back.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Something seemed to go ping, didn't it?
It was as he landed. Certainly moving a little bit gingerly at the moment. He's back on his feet, which is the main thing.
Only just back after injury, of course. Sustained against the Mariners. Which the Wanderers were not happy about at all. Raphael. Tiny feet by the winger, but just ran out of pitch on that far touchline. On the volley by Jorrit Hendricks. Nicolau sent it forwards. Germain first to react. Lewis has a little look around. Little wall pass by Germain. Davila finds Raphael. Ball's building nicely. Raphael gets to the byline and make that double figures in terms of corners for the Bulls.
Remarkable. It's that man again, Raphael, who's getting at that Western Sydney defence. I think the likes of Clisby and Beadley are going to have nightmares about him tonight when they put their head on the pillow.
Raphael, who scored in the 4-3 win over the Wanderers in the last meeting. Lewis's corner, near post. Again, it goes through everybody. Another corner.
Well, again, wonderful delivery. Clayton Lewis will be thinking, is anyone going to get their head on the end of these deliveries? You can see it flashes right across the 6-yard box. I think it's Uzcock who comes oh so close to getting his head on that one.
Holman. Complete miscue at the near post by Antonsen. Back in by Holman. Better contact off Marcelo. Wanderers are preparing a couple of changes, I can tell you. As that cross comes in, and Germain just jumped too early. Dylan Parias and Nicholas Milanovic are going to be the introductions. There's a Fagani just waiting for Valère Germain to get back to his feet. So claiming that there was an infringement. Got his shirt half rolled up his back. Germain is dropped down now, and Davila along the goal line. Morello desperately trying to get the Wanderers out. They are going to be penned back in for the moment at least. And here are those two changes for Western Sydney Wanderers. And it's going to be Dylan Parias and Nicholas Milanovic for Marcus Antonsen and Milos Ninkovic. Milos Ninkovic, consecutive starts for the first time this season, but of course, particularly in conditions like this, always unlikely he was going to see out the full 90 minutes. So a bit of pace injected down the flanks in the shape of Dylan Parias on one side and Milanovic's trickery on the other.
Let's go back.
Probably the right time for Marco Rudan to make the changes. Because the pattern of the game hasn't really changed.
No, that's right. Same, but different half, isn't it, Simon? I think that's wise from Marco Rudan, just to try and shake things up.
Marcus Antonsson still suffering from that back problem. Maybe that's the reason for his withdrawal. Macarthur's 12th corner. Lewis. Oh, Thomas missed it again.
That's very, very uncharacteristic for Lawrence Thomas. 3 times in a game of football. And the sun wasn't on that side of the pitch either. It is now, of course.
Vujica. Holman let it run, but only Marcelo behind. Clipped forward by Yearman. It's a good header by Marcelo. Still the Wanderers struggling to get out of their own half. Now they should be able to. Kittel. Borrello. Turned into trouble and then slid in on Lewis, who rides in pain and stays down. Play will continue. He lost control of the ball there, Brandon Borrello, and he was a fraction late on Lewis. And now referee Fagani will go and check as to his welfare. Let's have another look at it. Oh, you know, that foot's a bit raised, isn't it?
It's on top of the ball. I think VAR will be having a look at this one.
Sends him flying. And Clayton Lewis is in real pain.
He turned blind, Borrello, through his legs and turned it into a touch tackle situation to try and retrieve the ball. I think his foot gets caught on top of the ball and his studs are raised. Here it is here, he turns back and it's just there and his foot gets caught on top of the ball.
Look, I don't think it's intentional, but obviously it's a little reckless.
Yeah, there was certainly no force that he put through the tackle. He was just trying to get control of the ball again.
Borrello is going to wander across to offer his apologies to Clayton Lewis. That little tap of the arm from the New Zealander suggests that he understands there was no malice involved.
No doubt there'll be a bit of mercurochrome in some stud marks across the shin of Clayton Lewis later tonight.
Nothing as yet from VAR, which suggests that they're okay with that challenge. I don't think Clayton Lewis is particularly happy with it.
No, he accepted the apology from Brandon Borrello, but doesn't mean he's not going to have a quick word to the assistant referee who's a couple of metres away from it.
Lewis is good to go. Turned back by Bacchus. Curto. Given the hurry along by Brandon Borrello, which has forced the turnover. Quickly taken throw by Milanovic, who's in position for the return off Borrello. Milanovic in behind. Oh, what a goal! What a sensational strike from Nicholas Milanovic. And the Wanderers, who've been on the back foot for most of this game, take what is perhaps an unlikely lead. It's a bullet from the substitute.
Instant impact from the super sub Milanovic. That is a wonderful goal, and that is exactly what your coach is looking for on a Harvey Norman replay. You bring someone off the bench, look at that, for a couple of touches to set himself on the left foot, and then he packs some gunpowder behind that left foot strike, right into the top far corner of Philip Curto's goal. What a wonderful impact from Nicholas Milanovic.
And we reckon that other than the throw for the initial ball to Brandon Borrello, those are his first touches of the game. What an impact. His 8th of the season, which means he joins Lachlan Brook as the Wanderers' joint leading goal scorer. And after all that Bulls pressure, and what did we say, Moss? If you don't take your chances, you leave yourself vulnerable.
How often do we see it in this wonderful game? But credit to Marco Rudan for going to his bench with a double substitution quite early on, 52nd minute it was. And one of those substitutions has had an incredible impact right from the start.
Priestman involved in a little bit of a tug of war with Kieran Backus. Macarthur gets the decision. And what a breakout season Nicholas Milanovic is having, by the way.
Yeah, he's an incredible talent, isn't he?
Isn't he just?
And he gets opportunities like that, and that is taking, dare I say it, the bull by the horns. When you come off the bench and your first touches have an impact like that, and he's a player full of confidence and someone who really wants to make a statement.
And he ever really had one thing in his mind, didn't he? Even from taking the throw-in, you sensed that he felt there was an opportunity there to take the throw quickly, get the return from Borrello. And he still had an awful lot to do, but it's one heck of a finish.
It really is. But it's the mindset. It's, as you said, from the moment he went to collect the ball to take the throw in, you could see that he wanted to lift the tempo and get things moving. And then what he did once the ball was in play was just remarkable.
By the way, 4 goals in 8 games now against the Bulls for Nicholas Milanovic, his favourite opponents. And the Bulls are chasing the game. Here's Jaman. They've got Holman free on the left. Lewis wants to go himself and skews his effort wide of the post.
And you can't blame him. With the left foot he's got, Clayton Lewis, he's more than capable of scoring from that distance. He's got the power behind it, not the direction.
It's a good touch by Parias to open things up for Sonny Kittle. Milanovic is left. And Borrello trying to dig the ball out desperately. Kittle's there again. Here's Milanovic. Fires it across low, and eventually it's hooked away to safety by Nicolau.
Tommy Uscock was not giving Milanovic 1 inch on his left foot. He defended that situation very well.
Some blood and thunder out there at the moment. It's a lovely ball with the outside of the boot from Lewis towards Holman. Davila, not sure he really wanted that return from Lewis.
No, mindset is key here. Macarthur, for all their domination, to now find themselves on the wrong end of the scoreboard. They really have to pick themselves up and go again.
Hani Nicolau trying to thread the needle. He's done so for Raphael, but the winger happy to settle for yet another corner. Here's the as live ladder, which means if it stays this way, Macarthur stay in 4th, and the Wanderers have that 4-point break on Melbourne City, but still half an hour to go here. Now, a problem with the goal scorer, which will be of concern to Marco Rudan.
Is it just that his boot came off? Is he holding his calf?
Yeah, looks like the right ankle or right calf. Doesn't look to be anything too serious.
I wonder if it wasn't that challenge from Tommy Uscock inside the box where maybe his studs just caught Milanovic's boot.
So play will resume with the Bulls corner. They've had plenty of these. Lewis, and this time Lawrence Thomas gets both gloves behind it, and you can almost hear his sigh of relief.
Well, he put that in the safe and locked it.
Yeah, that's how the incident happened with Nicholas Milanovic, and I'm inclined to agree with you, Mossy. I think it was a boot problem. XG.
Yep, but it's the one above that that matters.
Absolutely. AG, actual goals.
You could have started something there, Simon.
Oh dear. Priestman has managed to shrug off Holman despite his best attempts. He tried to foul him. Second time around, tees up Milanovic. Cross it comes, Parias! That should have been 2. Set himself nicely, but blazed over the bar.
He just snatched at it, Parias, didn't he? That would have been an incredible story had the 2 subs also combined for the second goal. His first touch was very good off the chest. He just snatches at it. Needed just an ounce more composure.
Well, it's not quite the goal fest of early February, at least not yet. It's been a game that's had plenty of talking points.
I was going to say, I think you nailed it with not yet. 13 goals in the last 15 minutes for Macarthur this season, first in the competition. Western Sydney have conceded 10 in those last 15 minutes, which is, I think, second or third in the competition. So augurs well for the latter stages.
Wanderers have only lost once this season after scoring the first goal. That was a few weeks ago against Western United. That's a lovely touch by Kittle. Milanovic goes early. Here's a big chance. Kittle! First goal in Western Sydney Wanderers colours. Is that the points bagged for the red and black?
Well, in the end, it was a wonderful finish from Kittle. But the architect was down the left-hand side. Jack Clisby and Nicholas Milanovic once again. As we see on the Harvey Norman replay, Western Sydney just opening up down that left-hand side. Wonderful flick from Jack Clisby. Milanovic finds Kittle at the far post in acres of space. There's that flick there, and Milanovic knew exactly what to do. Great first touch. The second touch was deadly to the back post, and Kittle's second touch even deadlier.
Well, it's an unerring strike, befitting of a man that played over 50 games in the German Bundesliga. His first for Marco Rudan's team. And Miller Stajowski's response off the bench has been immediate. He's introduced Danny De Silva and Matt Miller at the expense of Raphael and Jake Holman. Matt Miller's first A-League action since before Christmas. And they come on with the Bulls reeling from 2 quality finishes after they've dominated most of the contest.
Well, it was always the fine print, wasn't it, Simon, from that first half. You don't take your chances when you're dominating an opponent like Macarthur were, Western Sydney Wanderers. You leave the door ajar. Western Sydney, and you have to give credit to Marco Rudan. That double substitution has been absolutely key in the fact that his team now have a 2-goal advantage.
And they have that 2-goal advantage thanks to their German imports. They apparently had conversations with 2 former Wanderers players before heading to Australia. Alex Meyer, whose stay in Sydney's West was only brief, and Permin Schwiegler, who stayed a touch longer. And the Wanderers are glad he came. Here's Germain. The Frenchman trying to wrestle momentum back the Bulls' way, but no way forward. Parias' touch. Kittle. Might have been fouled by Bacchus. Good advantage play by Ali Reza Fagani. Here's Nicholas Milanovic. Thought about the shot. Maybe he should have gone first time.
Oh, I thought he was going to. And I'm sure he was convinced he was going to until the last second. He decided against it, but Beadling did very well on Jaman down the other end of the pitch. Don't forget he's treading that fine line with that early yellow card, Beadling. He had to be clean, and he was.
Clipped out wide by Jaman for Nicolau. Beyond him is Matt Miller. Great for Macarthur to have him back in their squad. After such a long layoff, such an important part of the furniture in Campbelltown. A foul on Nicolau. Haven't those substitutions, particularly the introduction of Nicholas Milanovic, worked a treat for Marco Rudan?
Absolutely, and it was just shaking things up as well early in the second half. 52nd minute to make a double substitution. Usually coaches will wait till around the 60th minute mark. It just gave energy on both sides. Milanovic, the quality. Torres should have scored, could have scored, should have scored. And of course, a combination play down the left-hand side to open things up for Sonny Kittle. Absolutely outstanding.
Introducing back heels into his repertoire as well. Hendricks, and there's open pasture here for Aidan Simmons to advance into. Plenty of time to think about the delivery. Oh, that's a glorious goal! Fantastic football from the Wanderers, and Jorrit Hendricks buries it. Philip Curto didn't even move. That is one of the team goals of the season.
Well, that is combination play in the opposition penalty box at its very, very best. Hendricks with a wonderful finish, technically absolutely brilliant. As we see on the Harvey Norman replay, Simmons breaking down the right-hand side. He picks a pass into the path of Sonny Kittle, who knows exactly where to put it for Hendricks. First time finish. That is wonderful execution and a brilliantly crafted third goal for Western Sydney Wanderers.
Well, Jorrit Hendricks breaks his duck in red and black, or in this case, white today. And surely the points are heading back a short distance to Parramatta. What a blitz from the Wanderers. 3 goals, Mossy, in 13 second half minutes. And the Bulls do not know what has hit them as we head to drinks.
They really don't, and this is the difference between what they dished up first half and Western Sydney Wanderers in this second half. When you're dominating the opposition, you have to create and take chances. And this is a lesson in exactly that. 13 minutes of deadly football.
Well, there's plenty of Wanderers fans inside Campbelltown Stadium, and they're enjoying this. Now the Bulls have made another change. Lachlan Rose has been introduced. Gabriel Pleur's going to come on shortly as well, we think, for Western Sydney Wanderers. And Macarthur, well, they've got to climb Mount Everest here with 20 minutes to go. Kieran Backus, the man replaced by Lockie Rose. Lawrence Thomas out together, ahead of Matt Miller.
Well, as you'd imagine, Milo Sturjowski throwing the kitchen sink now, sacrificing a defensive midfielder in Backus. Clayton Lewis holding midfield, Lockie Rose coming into that front line with Davia just in behind.
Thomas Lavushkot being given a stern talking to by Ali Reza Fagani for the foul on Borello. Well, they'll be kicking themselves, Macarthur. They were totally dominant in that first half. They just couldn't find that crucial opening goal, and they've been punished for it.
Yeah, in the harshest possible way. And credit the Western Sydney Wanderers, of course. They found a way to weather that storm in the first half. And now they've been absolutely deadly in the second.
Weird to send Piraeus careering into the advertising hoardings surrounding the technical zone. There's still plenty going on out there.
Oh, there is, on a hot afternoon as well, but the one thing that goals give you is energy, enthusiasm, belief. That's three things.
Davila. His promptings from midfield have subsided as well, as the Bulls have been engulfed in a red and black glut of goals. He's going to get a free kick here, though. A little nibble at the ankles by Jorrit Hendricks.
Well, 17 minutes plus injury time remaining. Macarthur are going to get themselves back into this contest as we once again see Davila using his body so well. And you'd think they're going to have to get themselves on the scoreboard very quickly.
Now would be an opportune moment. Had plenty of set pieces, mainly corners. This one's a free kick. Clayton Lewis's delivery, out by Marcelo. Nicolau. Borello charged out and made the block. And up and, well, purposefully out by Jack Clisby. And Marco Rodin will be aware, won't need reminding, that this Wanderers team scored 3 on their last visit to Campbelltown and still lost. Lewis. No trouble for Lawrence Thomas, and here's 2 more changes for the Wanderers. Oscar Priestman has his number called. Gabriel Kleur is going to replace him. And Sonny Kittle, who got the second goal, will take his leave. And Lachlan Brook will be on in his place. Oscar Priestman, who picked up a yellow card in the first half, but has done a good shift in midfield as they weathered that first half onslaught. And Sonny Kittle will always remember this day, the day that he broke his duck as a Wanderer. Tidy finish too.
Oh, really tidy. Well, that's technical brilliance right there. To be able to take a shot like that, a snapshot, and execute is just fantastic.
Piraeus did the hard part, which was getting past Vujica and hitting the byline. Couldn't find the cross. Macarthur on the road next. They will jointly open the new stadium, in the men's competition at least, at Ironbark Fields. And they travel to play Western United. They have a trip to Adelaide, and then it's Sydney at home before they finish off with a game in the current leaders' home of Wellington. Little bump on Davila.
He's the God. He's the God of Australian football. He is the Messiah.
That's Marco Rodin, you can hear on the sideline saying he is the Messiah. You can't touch him. He's referring to Davila, of course. Lewis. Nicholas Milanovic has been the Wanderers' Messiah in this second half. That's a clever ball by De Silva. Davila, little drop of the shoulder. Settles for a corner. Wanderers' remaining games: Brisbane at home, the big Sydney derby, and then the 2 Melbourne clubs. Melbourne City at home and Victory away. That City game in particular could be a real 6-pointer. De Silva's corner. Davila. Top of the box is Lewis. Sky's ball was nicely weighted for De Silva. In now by Lewis. Out again by Borrello. Ute's ball. Important touch that by De Silva. Lewis just having to check the run. There's plenty in the box. If he can pick one Macarthur player out, it'll clip towards the back post and seen out.
Good defending on the back post. I think it was Nicholas Milanovic doing his defensive responsibilities as Lockie Rose puts Clayton Lewis away on this left-hand side. He did the right thing there, just hung it up to the back post. Milanovic staying true to his responsibilities.
Lewis with the latest of a whole succession of corners.
And once again, it's Marcelo clearing the danger for his side. It always amazes me when attacking teams don't put a blocker in front of Marcelo. He's so dominant defensively in the air. What odds the importance he's played today too, Simon, particularly at half-time. I'm sure in the dressing room, his leadership, Marcelo, keeping the belief amongst his teammates would have been absolutely key.
There's the commentator's curse for you, Mossy. Welcome to the club.
I've been part of that club many, many times.
Well, Marcelo and the Wanderers will be desperate to keep a clean sheet. Haven't kept any in their last 7 matches. 7 all season. We're on course here. Lewis's free kick. Oof. Absolutely cleaned up Milanovic. He wasn't expecting that on the back post.
No, slight deflection caught him out, but wonderful delivery again from Clayton Lewis. When they do their review, Macarthur, there has been so many opportunities for them to score from set pieces.
A little sneaky appeal for handball there by Macarthur. Milanovic trying to take evasive action. Lewis is caught as a good punch by Thomas this time. Back out for De Silva. Back in by Lewis and out again by Simmons. And thumped upfield by Jack Clisby. As we tick over into the last 10 minutes. It's looking unlikely for the Bulls. Only 2 teams in A-League history have come back from 3-0 down to win. It's the Wanderers against Brisbane in the semi-finals of the 15-16 season, and Adelaide, who also defeated Brisbane in February 2019. I think the Bulls would settle for a point rather than win. But even that seems a little unlikely at the moment. Hendricks. Borrello was offside. Do, as looks likely, go on to win this one, Mossy. Have to pay tribute to the character of the Wanderers. On the back of that 7-0 hammering to Melbourne City there, season really was right on the line. And they've responded with 2 really good away performances, particularly in the second half here.
Yeah, they certainly have, Simon. Don't forget, they went on a run of 3 straight losses as well. Broken by that win over in the West, which is never easy. If they do back that up today, which looks as though they will, there's a huge turnaround. I think they just took their eye off the ball for a few weeks there, Western Sydney, but it seems the focus has returned.
Away by a combination of Simmons and Borrello. Davila will sling it wide for Matt Miller. Goal here, and they might have just half a chance, the Bulls, but Jaman can't link up with Nicolau. Instead, it's Lockie Brook to bring it forward. Oh, that's brilliant from Milanovic. Superb awareness of where the defender was. Nicholas Milanovic not quite able to find a finish, but boy, he is some talent.
Wow, that is wonderful from Milanovic. For a young player to have that awareness, know the pace on the ball from Lachlan Brook. And there wasn't a lot of pace to play with, but he just knows exactly where Tommy Uscock is, sucks him in, steps over it, and off he goes. Just a shame from his point of view, he couldn't add the finishing touch.
Updated stats to give Macarthur fans some hope. 3 teams in A-League history have come back from 3-0 down to get a 3-all draw. Mariners against Perth, 16-17. Victory against the Mariners a year before that. And most recently, Brisbane against Wellington in 17-18. You feel they've got to score pretty quickly. Vujicic. Lewis to hang one up. Jaman not quite able to reach it. Marcelo gets it out of harm's way for now. Up and away off the boot of Aidan Simmons. And Vujicic had his arm across Brandon Borello, who remains down. And the Wanderers bench are not happy. But play goes on, and there might be a chance brewing here for Miller. He was offside. So that little brouhaha didn't eventuate. There we go. Just a hand across the chops from Vujicic. More changes afoot. Christian Popovic to replace the tiring Clayton Lewis, who's had all that travel to deal with.
And he's been good, Clayton Lewis, the beaten side, or what looks to be a beaten side, given the travel he's had. He's been good in general play. His set-piece delivery has been deserved better, to be honest.
Ball's gone out of play. It's going to be a Wanderers throw. Who were, incidentally, about to introduce Tate Russell off the bench, but he's just been told to go and sit back down for the moment. There he is. Still looks ready to go, Tate Russell. Taking the bib off and everything. Forward by Yearman. Brave by Beadling. Chested down by Davila. De Silva. Davila again. Oh, it's clever. With the wrong foot, if you like. Here's a chance. It's in. Matt Miller gives Macarthur late hope. The Bulls delighted to have him back. And they've got just a glimmer here with 4 minutes plus stoppages to go.
Oh, how they've missed this man, Matt Miller. Macarthur, he knows where to be and when to be there on the Harvey Norman replay. Again, Davila central to it. Lockie Rose down the left-hand side. Gets a little bit lucky with a half clearance from Hendricks, and Matt Miller does the rest. Another deflection from Hendricks beat Lawrence Thomas, but it just gives them a glimmer, just a glimmer of hope.
It's his 5th of the season. Now will the Wanderers perhaps get the wobbles? They've still got a comfortable advantage and not too long to play. But it's just posed a little bit of a question. And that run without a clean sheet will now extend to 8 matches.
And it's another late goal from Macarthur. 14 goals in the last 15 minutes.
Forward by Jaman. Miller. There's a little push there on Clisby. Such was his desperation to try and get to the ball. And this fixture has again, we did say it, Mossy, produced a bit of a goal glut. Sonny Kittle leading the Paramount Plus player index marks at the moment. Nicholas Milanovic not far behind for his goal and assist off the bench.
And he should have had another. That wonderful turn on halfway. It's been an incredible impact from a young player. Exactly what your coach is looking for when he brings you off the bench. You have to say, Simon, too, in stifling conditions, really difficult conditions for the players. Both sets of players have put on a game for the fans this afternoon. Energy and intensity has been quite good.
Yeah, I think it's been a very watchable game of football. Credit to the players who've toiled through the hot conditions. Of course, the lack of stands at the stadium means that the pitch doesn't get any shade, or not much shade anyway. A little bit on this near side, as you can see. Rose sliding in. A little bit of a collision with Marcelo. De Silva. And he went futsal style with the toe of the boot.
Snatched at it, didn't he? So desperate to try and find the back of the net. He actually had a good option to play into the feet of Valère Germain. Just cannot find him. Goes for goal himself, De Silva. That would have really turned the heat up had Macarthur found a second goal then. Injury time approaching.
And we understand that there are going to be 7 minutes added on.
Do we have any influence over that? Can we increase that to 10 or 12?
You're going to get hate mail from Wanderers fans now, Mossy, you know that.
It's been an entertaining game, it really has.
Normally is between these two. And the ball's not quite dead just yet. There we go, 7 additional minutes confirmed. So still time for some more late drama between these two. Germain. Davila. Yerman. Vujica had to move it on quickly for De Silva and did so. He's been full of energy in this game, Ivan Vujica. And he gets a corner.
Just another one. Corner number 17 to Western Sydney Wanderers' sole corner. Remarkable statistic.
Lockie Rose to deliver this one. Back post was Uskok. Oh, and it just glanced off the head of Yanni Nicolau, I fancy. And agonisingly wide of that right-hand upright for Macarthur.
Well, Marco Rudan is cutting a very relieved figure in his technical area as we see Uskok do everything right, heading it back across goal. And Nicolau just couldn't get the purchase on the second header. Absolutely key now how Western Sydney manage these last 5.5 or so minutes.
Well, at the very least, they're used to the conditions because it was searing heat and they won in Perth as well, just before the international break. And again, they've coped with it admirably tonight, or this afternoon, I should say. Tate Russell is being ready the second time for the Wanderers. Rose. Macarthur free kick. Here is that change for Western Sydney Wanderers. Like for like change. One right back for another. Aidan Simmons replaced by Tate Russell. He's back in the action for the first time since he was sent off against the Newcastle Jets on the 11th of February. Had to bide his time.
Yeah, and Aidan Simmons will be very pleased with his performance this afternoon. He had to get through a lot of work defensively in the first half. He's injected himself well in the second half.
Popovic. Miller. Trying to burrow his way through the middle. Germain. De Silva. Awkward one to control and thumped out of play by Nicholas Milanovic.
Showing that he's got just as much power in that right foot as he has in his left foot.
Buskok. Passing lane wasn't quite open for Nicolau on the right. So the Bulls will move down the left instead. De Silva checking inside. Popovic. Buskok. Was dropping deep. Cleared away for now by Tate Russell. Danny De Silva. Vujica. Lockie Rose going for the spectacular overhead kick, which Ali Reza Pagani has deemed as a foul.
That would have been a miracle goal. Outnumbered by about 3 defenders there, Lockie Rose. Still gets something on it, but illegally so.
Lockie Brook. Fairly dispossessed. The Wanderers fans don't agree. Quickly returned to Vujica by his coach. Miller Stajovski knows time is of the essence. If they score now, there might just be time for another attack or two. Christian Popovic. Davila. That was a shot. I'd drop here for Lockie Rose. That was a shot that was going way, way off target. Floated up towards the far right-hand side of the box where Nicolau was stationed. More of a hopeful ball, really, from Yerman. Buskok. De Silva. It's a poor first touch from Matt Miller. Again, Milanovic just putting his boot through it. Gabriel Pleur is one of the furthest forward for the Wanderers. Makes an effective challenge. Vujica. De Silva. Lockie Rose. Davila. Trying to squeeze his way through. Couldn't quite do so. And Beedling digs it out for a throw.
It's been good for them today, Beedling. Have to walk that tightrope for a long period of this game after an early yellow card. His positioning's been good. He's been strong in the challenge, thanks to Marcelo.
Well, surely it's too late now for the Bulls. .30 seconds left. De Silva held up by Russell. Lockie Rose won't give this one up. Just arrived a moment too late. That should just about see the Wanderers through. And on balance, I guess their second half performance suggests that they deserve the 3 points.
Absolutely, they've taken their chances. Macarthur didn't in the first half. There's an argument that it has been a game of two halves from a territorial and domination point of view. Western Sydney have got their chances and scored them.
Play on, says referee Pagani. It's a good retrieval from Gabriel Pleur and threads the ball through. There's no flag. Dylan Parias is quick, and so too is Philip Curto. Now the flag does go up, but it's all immaterial. The full-time whistle blows, Back-to-back away wins for the Wanderers as they emerge triumphant in Campbelltown for the very first time. Marco Rudan's team moving 4 points clear of the chasing pack in 6th. Macarthur, despite an almost comprehensive domination in the first half, missed the chance to go 3rd as this all Western Sydney affair goes the way of the Wanderers. And Nicholas Milanovic, very much the star of the show, off the bench in the second half. A goal and an assist for Sonny Kittle, and then Jorrit Hendricks with a terrific team goal, giving us a final scoreline of Macarthur 0, Western Sydney Wanderers 3. And it's all kicking off at the end, as it did in the last game. Nicholas Milanovic and Ulysses Davila with the first protagonists, and then Tomislav Uskok has got involved, and now arms are raised between Lachlan Brook and Daniel Nizic, the reserve goalkeeper, and it's all ending in a little bit of a free-for-all, which is unfortunate because largely, Phil Moss, this was a terrific game of football to watch.
Oh, it's been a wonderful game, and you've sensed that there's been something just bubbling under the surface. It's a shame it came to the boil after full time, but we've been served up with a great game of football this afternoon in difficult conditions, but clearly some ill feeling still there from what's gone before us.
Yeah, and they want to go again, or Milanovic certainly does. It was he and Ulysses Davila that started that little confrontation verbally at first, before teammates rushed to get involved, as they normally do, of course. And of course, referee Ali Reza Fagadi keeping a beady eye on all of this in case he needs to take any further action. So Nicholas Milanovic comes to have a conversation with the referee, shows him the back of his head. Let's remind you the full-time scoreline: Macarthur 1, Western Sydney Wanderers 3. And that late goal for Matt Miller all